as we continue to celebrate AANHPI month, we're pleased to welcome back author Nicole Tsong. Nicole's work is rooted in helping people, particularly Asian Americans, break free from people-pleasing and speak their truth with confidence and clarity. And I think that's something that so many of us can benefit from. Nicole, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Kelly.
Such an important topic, and you often speak about the unique challenges Asian Americans face when it comes to self-expression. So can you talk about how cultural conditioning can impact someone's ability to really speak their mind?
Yeah, such a good question. And this is a really rich topic. And so when I'm working with Asian American women, which I typically do, what I find is that growing up in an Asian household with parents who are Asian, that there is more of a tendency to value the collective and the whole. And so what it means is like everybody's feelings and like how the community is reflected is really from you. And so what you do reflects upon them. And so when you grow up that way, you have a tendency to try to like achieve or to try to do things that make your family look really good because that's what your value is. And then we live in the United States where individualism is super high value here. So there can be this cultural tug of war and tension for Asian Americans in particular because they don't know how to navigate and deal with this idea that like everything I do reflects on my family and yet I'm expected to act in a particular way because I live in the United States.
That makes perfect sense. And you say the first step is to stop questioning whether you have something to say. And so why is this such a common struggle, especially for people that are people pleasers, which I feel like I do fall into this category?
Yeah, so this applies, I would say, to people pleasers in general,
Yeah.
and then also obviously growing up in an Asian household. Well, when you have this feeling like you want everyone else to be happy and you're raised that way, then you start to push your preferences out to other people. So what they want matters more than what you care about or what you would desire. And so then as a result, you often aren't really that tuned in with what you care about or what you would want. And so for a lot of my clients, we work on this by just even starting to make it really simple. And I like to do this practice of, okay, you're going out to dinner with a friend, where do you want to eat? And if you're someone who always says, whatever you want, right? And if that's you, then that's the tendency to say, actually, you probably do have a preference. You're just not saying it out loud. Like, do you want to go have Korean food? Do you want to go have something Italian food? Like, what do you really want tonight? And just making it really simple for you to recognize you do have a preference, you're just not saying it. You're used to deferring all the time.
And then I feel like you build some resentment because you do have an opinion, but you're just kind of saying, oh no, whatever you want. And you also emphasize the importance of pausing before responding. Why is that pause so important and powerful?
When you're speaking your mind, the pause, I feel like, is one of the most essential things you can do. So first, if you look at any really powerful leader or speaker or orator, they're always pausing. And pausing is a leadership quality, first of all, and it also gives you a moment to tune into your own authentic voice rather than the noise that's in your head or from what other people are saying. So it gives you a moment to actually reflect and say, oh, okay, what do I really want to say versus what do I think I should say or what somebody else has already said. You get a moment to actually understand and listen to yourself, and that's when you start to speak truly from your own mind and authentic voice.
Gosh, amazing. And you also say that reacting isn't the same as speaking your mind. So if you wouldn't mind explaining that difference.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the pause. So we have an authentic voice, we have preferences, we actually all have something unique to say into the world. And so when you're in reaction, you're just taking things personally and you're getting upset over what somebody else said. And that's not your authentic voice. So when you take that pause and you take a moment and you get into response, then you're actually able to access your authentic voice and say something that is from your perspective and really means something and has an impact rather than from, oh, like I'm just angry or I'm upset or I'm just reacting to all the things that I see in the world.
And when it comes to speaking with authority, you talk about shifting your voice from the throat to the belly. So walk us through this and how it makes a difference.
Yeah, this one is really fun. This comes from my yoga teacher days. And so it came from this very practical side where when you're talking to a big group, if your voice is in your throat, you actually start to lose your voice over time. And over time, also, if you drop your voice down to your belly, you can actually speak with more authority and you don't lose your voice as a practical side effect. So what I do is this, and you can do it with me, is you just say hum and just kind of notice if it's in your throat. So say hum, hum, yeah. And then while you hum, drop it to your belly. Go hum. Yeah, can you feel it go down?
Yeah.
So, And then you start to speak from the belly place, and you have more, it's deeper, it's more resonant, and it is more authoritative, and it's also easier to project. So it gives you all these different qualities, both like a physical impact, and then also the impact for people who are listening to you will be different.
Gosh. And what advice would you have for someone who's just starting to realize that they're prioritizing others over themselves?
Yeah, this one is such a good question because I feel like I have an Asian visibility system where we talk about a lot of the steps that it takes. The thing is that when we talk about cultural conditioning or anyone who's been a people pleaser, like you probably didn't start it yesterday. Like you've probably been doing it your whole life. It takes months to actually reacclimate and to make that change. And I go into it, and if you want to know more about the system, it's on my website at NicoleTsong.com. But also for anybody who is really wanting to do it, it's just learning to ground yourself daily. Like do something, work your voice deeper, just start to pause when you're talking, and then that's going to give you access to doing it yourself.
You're amazing, Nicole. Thank you so much.